Hey everybody, good morning to you all from the Sunnyvale Reject, coming at you from West Palm Beach, Florida, where it's about 5:45 in the morning. Everybody's upstairs asleep. It's dark outside, and here I am hanging out with you guys. And today I want to show you some fresh, new, underground, obscure horror books that I know nothing about. I know nothing about the books. I know nothing about the authors. Well, except for one. All I know is that they had fresh covers and I liked the blurbs, the little descriptions on the back, and so I bought them. And I want to discover these books with you, and if I can influence you to pick up one, so be it. Now, this is not my Halloween picks. It's just some random horror picks that I chose based on basically the cover, and it felt good. I liked it. It was fun. So look, without further delay, let me show you these books. And the author that I've heard of, I'll save him for last. How's that? All right. How about this one? Cynthia Murphy's The Midnight Game. Hear my old chair squeaking? Kind of like my knees walking up the stairs, but I just can't get rid of it yet. So this is The Midnight Game by Cynthia Murphy, author of Win, Lose, Kill, Die. Yeah, there's some of her books right there. A couple of her books. Have you ever heard of her? I have not. So let's see what it's about. Rules of the Midnight Game. Do not turn on the lights. Do not go to sleep. That's a no-no. Do not leave the building. When a group of 6 strangers who have only ever spoken on a creepy Reddit thread decide to meet IRL, they have one plan in mind. They are going to play the Midnight Game and summon the Midnight Man. But once you start the game, you must finish it. There's no other way out. Everyone is dying to play. It's the Midnight Game. The Midnight Game. What do you think? Let's see. Let's see what it says inside. A lethal, high-stakes thriller. Okay, thriller, maybe not horror per se. That gave me whiplash and trust issues. From Natasha Preston, y'all know her. Witty, atmospheric, and a little bit evil. That's by Catherine Foxfield. She wrote Good Girls Die First. A twisty, tricksy book that will leave you unable to trust anyone, including yourself. That's not good. And here's some maps of the buildings I guess they're talking about. That's Midnight Game. Some obscure horror book I found on Amazon. How about this one here? The person, the thing on this cover reminds me of the vampire in Salem's Lot, and that's what drew my attention to it. It's called Haint's Holler. Haint's Holler. Look at that guy. Y'all remember the vampire in Salem's Lot? Looks like that creepy character. God, what a great movie. Salem's Lot terrified me. Remember the scene where the 2 brothers are walking home and they get separated in the woods? I think it was the older kid that died. No, I could be wrong about which kid died, but one of them died, and a couple of days after the funeral, the kid's, dressed in his tuxedo, and he floats up to the window, and he goes, "Let me in." Terrifying. Aren't you guys glad that Halloween is on the horizon now? So close. It's Haint's Hollow. If I'm not mistaken, this is part of a series. I think there's 3 books involved. This really has the look on the inside of a traditionally self-published book. You don't have the end papers. Guys, for you guys that want to publish, excuse me, for you guys that write and want to publish, self-publishing probably is the way to go, because you don't want to wait on an agent. You don't want to wait on a publisher. You retain 50% of your rights. Of your royalties, let's say, and you retain your rights. So, but you got to have somebody professionally do it. You got to have end papers. You got to have title pages, blank pages, copyright page, and all that. So you got the cover, and then it goes right into the Haint. Yeah, in chapter 1, so chapter 1, table of contents would look professional too. Just remember that, guys. That's good advice. But we don't necessarily judge books by their cover, do we? Okay, but listen to this description. It sounds good. Blood runs deep in the holler, and no one escapes what hunts the hills. In the mountains of Kentucky, the Galagly family. See, I would change that name, Galagly. I never met any Galaglies growing up, and it doesn't roll off the tongue, if you know what I'm saying. But that doesn't mean the story's going to suck. Family lives under a curse older than the coal seams. When the Haints Rest mine collapses, something ancient crawls free, and the killings begin. Sheriff Hunter Galagly, like if his name was Hunter Jones or Hunter Ruiz or something, but not a name you've never heard of. It yanks you out of the story and reminds you that some author came up with that name so it would sound unique and different, you know, and it just doesn't sound natural. Wants answers. Greg Galagly wants out. But as lawmen and outlaws clash, both men find themselves caught in a nightmare that won't stay buried. The Haint. So they're mining in the hills, and some ancient evil creature comes out of the mountain. Yes. Haint solid. Not much to it, and I don't know why. I mean, it sounds interesting to me. I grew up in Appalachia, you know, Arkansas. I was in North Carolina for a while. The Arkansas has spooky mountains like the Boston Mountains, the Ozark Mountains, and they are ancient. And the Appalachian Mountains are older than the damn Andes and and the Rockies, I think. That's why they're smaller, because they've been eroded. A family of killers. A family of killers. Now this is a great cover. Great, intriguing, interesting cover. I like it, and it stood out. I breezed past it and I went and did a double take, you know. Have you ever heard of A Family of Killers? I had not. You know, you get recommendations sometimes from Amazon, and, you know, we talk about Stephen King and Fear Street and Dean Koontz and who else? You know, we got Peter Straub, you know, we got Rick Altala. I mean, you name it. You know who we all talk about. So I figured some of these guys are deserving of some screen time too. I myself am an independent, you know, underground writer, really, and I rely on word of mouth and YouTubers and podcasters, and I market on X and Facebook and Instagram and those kind of things. So why not? Why not give these folks a shout out and support their books and hopefully create some good karma and hope that it comes back around, you know? And do that in your life too, man. Do some good, and then when you pray, you should expect it to come back around because you're a good person. And you guys are good people. And listen, after this video, you know, I'm not house to say this. It's a crazy world we live in, and we should live in paradise. Take a moment to just be silent and pray for everybody. And if you don't believe in God, just think positive, good thoughts about people. And again, you should, you know, expect good things to happen to you because you deserve it and you want good for others, right? And then somehow I got to get back to Family of Killers, from making a positive statement like that back to A Family of Killers. For several months, men have been disappearing mysteriously on the route between Independence and Osage Mission, and the matter is exciting a great deal of talk throughout southeast Kansas. When Bullock's father was only supposed to be on a quick trip, but there have been rumors about a string of disappearances in southeastern Kansas, and the longer his father is gone, the more uneasy Warren becomes. When he can't take it anymore, when he can't take the waiting anymore, he decides to investigate the missing people and hopefully find his father. Except lately, Warren's been haunted by a sinister voice in his head, one that urges him to commit unspeakable acts of violence against the people around him, and he knows if he wants to rescue his father, he will have to be stronger than his darkest impulses. Thank you guys for being patient and bearing with me through that. That story is reminiscent of what? Amityville Horror. I mean, it's a familiar story, but I gotta say, the cover got me. And it's kind of like a product, you know. Let's say you like candy bars and you eat Snickers, and now there's a new candy bar that looks just like Snickers beside it. You might pick it up just to look at it, and that might be enough for you to try it. And after you try it, it might be your new favorite candy bar. But we do like books on this channel and in this community. We love covers, right? And by books, I meant not just the story themselves, but the whole aspect of a book, the whole production, the way it feels, the way it looks. Do you ever smell your books? Not new ones. They don't necessarily have that new car scent, but books you get from Goodwill, and books that have that antique smell about them. As I'm reading them, I put them on my chest at night, and it just helps me go to sleep. I don't know if I'm alone in that. Maybe so. Okay, moving right along. Love you guys. Thank you for your support, man. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, like and subscribe and check out some of my other videos, please. I appreciate your support, and I do indeed pay it forward. Happy wedding day. Come on, guys. Look at this cover. And for once, my ring light isn't totally... Oh, there it is. We got to be careful of that. Happy wedding day. This just... Come on, man. This just exudes great slasher vibes from the 70s, 80s, 90s. God, it's just a beautiful image. I love it, and the back looks good too. It did indeed grab my attention. This is the first book out of all of these that I'm going to show you, and have shown you. This is the one that started it all. Everything about this book, I like. I love the cover. I love the little taglines. You may now kiss the knife. Kiss the knife, baby. It's professional, well done on the inside. It's got a big font, almost. It's a big font, and I gotta tell you, maybe it's because I'm getting older, but I just don't like to strain to read. It's got a nice big chunky font, not large print, but big enough to read comfortably. I really dig that. Let's talk about what it's about, though. A wedding slasher, indeed. The perfect day, the perfect couple, the perfect massacre. When a lavish wedding at an isolated Maine resort turns into a blood-soaked nightmare, the guests realize they aren't just celebrating love, they're fighting to survive. As the bodies pile up and the vows turn to screams, one thing becomes clear. Someone in the wedding party is keeping a deadly secret. With nowhere to run and the night spiraling into chaos, the bride, the groom, and their closest friends must uncover the truth before they take their final dance. Because at this wedding, the last kiss isn't with the love of your life. It's with cold steel. Love it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. But that is short and sweet and gives the readers just enough to want more. And that's the way you do with a good dish. A good menu, has several wonderful small dishes, man, that encourage you to try something else. And you're not full. You're still hungry, right? That's smart business. I love this. And you've got to have these kind of things on your book. You've got to whet their appetite because there's so much competition and so many books to choose from. Okay, I'm rambling a little bit, but what the hell else am I going to do? Everybody's asleep. You guys are probably asleep, and hell, I don't hate on you. Enjoy it. There's this yellow cat outside my house. People move, and they just leave their animals, and I noticed that being at the University of Southern Mississippi in Hattiesburg, that kids would bring cats and other pets, lizards and stuff, turtles even, to their dorm rooms, and when they realized they couldn't have pets, they just let them go. And you can kind of tell when a cat has been, part of a family and in a house, because they'll come up to you. But a cat that's out in the wild, they're very skittish. But here I am at 5 o'clock in the morning going, here, kitty, 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 get some milk. Come on, kitty, kitty. What am I, crazy? I don't know. I feed the raccoons, too, to keep them out of the dumpsters. But that's another story. This is the only author out of this list that I've heard of at all. He is a best-selling author, and Esquire said he was the best horror writer of his generation. Stephen King declared one of his books a classic. He was nominated for the Bram Stoker Award, and he's even, had some appearances, some small roles on TV like Quantico, FBI, a few others. I can't remember. I'm sure it's somewhere in the book, but his name is Nat Cassidy, and this is Rest Stop. Come on, man. Look at this. It's a great cover, and it's a thin book. Look. If this was your book, you'd be proud of it. I mean, Profoundly devastating and nasty as hell, Eric LaRocca, the author of Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. You see that there? Spine's pretty cool. Looks like, for some reason, looks like are reminiscent of a Palahniuk book. You know, the dude that wrote Fight Club, Diary, Lullaby, Adjustment Day. If you haven't seen my Chuck Palahniuk collection video, please check it out. I have some beautiful Palahniuk books, almost all of them first editions. A lot of them are signed, and he's a great author. You'll dig him. Crazy as hell, collector of wild stories, and all of that. All right, but this is Rest Stop by Nat Cassidy. He's well known, you know. Let's see what it's about, though. See if we got that page. We don't really have that what's it about page, so I'll just read some reviews. This is advanced praise, right? That's a good thing to have as an end paper, too. Poignant and nasty as hell, Nat Cassidy's Rest Stop is a thoughtful and sharply written chamber drama that peers off the rails into a profoundly devastating cosmic splatter spectacle. Eric LaRocca. That was good. That was good. Okay. This is from Adam Cesar, you know, the guy that wrote Clown in a Cornfield, and he's an influencer, too. Somewhere between Saw and Sarder, there's a detour. Nat Cassidy's Rest Stop is that roadside attraction, a funny, beautiful, and scary novella that leavens its introspection with blood spatter and a dusting of spider legs. It's great, and that's a great little blurb. One more. Let's see. A gleefully vicious and relentless romp, Rest Stop is Nat Cassidy at his most unhinged. Seriously, I'm scared of him now. This isn't a blurb. It's a restraining order. Whoa, Brian McCauley, author of Candy Cane Kills and Curse of the Reaper. That's a good one. Yes, that's a good one. Okay, so that's Rest Stop by Nat Cassidy. Esquire has given this dude accolades and props. At some point in the near future, I will find out if they are correct. We have another one by Nat Cassidy. This is the one I think that Stephen King declared a classic. It got rave reviews. People love it. I still, didn't know anything about it until I saw it on Amazon. But it's When the Wolf Comes Home. I love werewolf novels. Do you guys? What do you like better? Zombies, vampires, werewolves? What do you think? Damn, I never really thought about that. I love werewolves, though. I like to see them change. Like in The Howling or American Werewolf in London. Some great change scenes, man. You just wonder how they turn into a werewolf and stretch their skin out. And when they turn back into a human, they're always naked, but their skin's not stretched out at all. They go right back to normal. But werewolves, yeah. I don't know. Werewolves are vampires, but zombies, I don't know. All right, let's see. All right, here it is. Nat Cassidy returns with When the Wolf Comes Home, an unabashed, adrenaline-fueled pop horror thriller where the darkest fears become reality. One night, Jess, a struggling actress, finds a 5-year-old runaway hiding in the bushes outside her apartment. After a violent, bloody encounter with the boy's father, she and the boy find themselves running for their lives. As they attempt to evade the boy's increasingly desperate father, horrifying incidents of butchery follow them. At first, Jess thinks she understands what they're up against, but she's about to learn that there's more to these surreal and grisly events than she could ever have imagined, and that when the wolf finally comes home, no one will be spared. When the Wolf Comes Home. Nice little book. This is all embossed. This is matte finish. I can't remember how much I got this for on Amazon, but I'm sure you could find a used copy somewhere. And we're in the spooky season, so why not give one or maybe two, maybe even three of these books a chance? Now, like I said in the beginning, this is not my Halloween pick book, but just some awesome-ass, random-ass, obscure horror books for you to enjoy. And I'll be back with a Halloween video somewhere near the first week of October. How's that? I love you guys. I'm going to shut up, but you guys stay cool. Never stop reading and enjoy the hell out of the weekend.